What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be breaking down the new artifact, the Auspicious Lucky Cat artifact. We're going to be breaking down in a separate video, mainly because this could potentially be one of the most powerful artifacts we have ever seen, and it might be one of those where you want to put it on every single hero on your team. We always talked about this in the past, like, oh, maybe Elusive Mirror will work out being great, but the way that the energy numbers work, 15 is this weird oddball number where it's impossible to get an active every single round. This is more reminiscent of like the old school Demon Bells, where they had a, if you just have Demon Bells on everybody, you just get infinite active abilities, which was cool. This one has more to do with the buffs that it gives both its allies and the target themselves who's using this artifact. It is a tanky one, which means it's probably gonna have a pretty good chance of being usable. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about it and let's see, is this gonna be one that we want to hunt? 18 artifacts of, wait, no, we need 4 of each. Oh no. So before we go into this really too far, I do want to put a very big disclaimer on this one here. The moderator here, that's a DH Games official, Chen, has been known to have some wrong information on upcoming events. I just want to put that out there. We've thought events were going to be amazing or items were going to be amazing, and then they weren't quite the same. What we might be seeing is honestly like the pre-release version of it. So again, I just want to make sure you guys know when the game launches, the update launches on Thursday, it might not be what this says. But as far as this goes, we have most of the information right here. So it's called the Auspicious Lucky Cat, 3-star. So when it's fully upgraded, 3-star pink, which means this is a splendid version we're talking about right here. You're going to get 24% control immunity, 24% HP, and 24% all damage reduction. So that's pretty solid. It's kind of like the base version of Crown. Of course, Crown gives you the extra 50. It's kind of like Fan, where it just gives you 50 when you have a shield. So yeah, it's interesting. 24 is a decent amount of all damage reduction, especially if you're already using the Void imprint to get additional damage reduction. It has HP, it has control immunity rate. I mean, control immunity rate is perfect right now because that's going to help you not get CC'd. I don't know, by one of the most powerful heroes in the game, Therapist of Blood Betty. Yeah, so that might help you out too. The skill is called Good Fortune and Prosperity. It says at the beginning of each battle or at the end of each round, it triggers Fortune several times and it triggers Prosperity several times. Fortune gives a random ally a random ingot. Prosperity grants self a random ingot. So you're going to both trigger something for an ally, a random ally. You're going to trigger something for yourself. But there's 2 different types of ingots that are going to go out. Whew. So it says grants just 1. It sounds like one single one for each one of these. So there's 2 different types. The gold ingot, each hero can get up to X gold ingot. So I think that's the part we don't know yet. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be something crazy. We don't know. It says each of which increases the owner's all damage dealt. Again, we don't have the percentage number on that. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good. And then of course we have the silver ingot. Each hero can get up to, again, X silver ingots, each of which reduces the owner's damage received. So you're getting all damage dealt and all damage reduction from these ingots. However, if you only have it on one hero, you're going to give like basically a gold ingot or a silver ingot to a single ally. When you have 6 heroes on a team, that means there's 5 targets. Of course, you're going to give yourself 1 at the beginning of the battle and at the end of each round. It does sound like there is no round limit on these, so potentially they will just stack up. And it does mean if you don't have like a full stack immediately at the beginning of the battle, it doesn't matter. As you ramp up, it's more like an Antlers can, where as the rounds go on, you get more and more buffs and more damage. That's going to be what this looks like too, because again, it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with a round limit. The silver ingot damage reduction, of course, is invalid for Healing Charm, which is the debuff that Amun-Ra gives, the Healing Curse, and the Monster. So monsters don't really do much damage nowadays, but that is a thing. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and here's where, you need 1 carry the 4. You need 4 of these for each hero, potentially, if you want a splendid version. That's going to be interesting. 4 times 6, 24 of them. That's a lot of artifacts, but if that happens, it could be pretty broken. Now, just remember, chances are you could probably get 4 or 5 of these this week if you go all in on the event. And then, of course, you're going to... But then if you... you can get 4 or 5. However, chances are a couple of those chests that are going to have this artifact in it are also going to be put in the same line potentially as Scattered Spirit Vein and the Aurora gems, and those two are probably going to be way more important for your progression, because as you know, getting to a D6 hero, a Destiny Transition maxed out hero, is still months and months away, even for the biggest of spenders. I'm even like a month or two behind those spenders, if you want to put it in perspective. The big whales versus me, because I've skipped a couple events here and there. That's going to take a while, and they're probably going to be competing for a couple of them. So getting at least 2 or 3 of these is probably possible this week without having to touch the chest. Because again, remember, chances are the 2 chests that, or the 2 lines of rewards that you typically get as a free-to-play player or low spender, those chests typically don't have newer artifacts in them for quite a while. So be prepared. As a free-to-play, you probably won't get access to this for at least a couple months. What this also means is that the elusive mirror should hit the Glorious Relic shop, and it should be in just about every single chest starting this week, which is interesting. But again, let's get back to that topic of 24 of these. What happens then? So if in fact these last the entire 15 rounds plus whatever it has in combat, because it doesn't say that it wears off or there's any round limit or anything like that anywhere in the preview. Again, disclaimer, this could be wrong, but if it isn't, the X is going to play a big factor, because that would mean at the end of every round, you're giving yourself one of those ingots. It's going to be interesting, because again, this is going to give you guys gold ingots. I feel like are the ones that are the important ones to stack up. The silver ingots are nice, extra damage reduction. It kind of just depends on the game mode you're in. But if you have all 6 of your heroes wielding this artifact, it means every single hero gets 1 ingot in the first round from themselves. And in reality, by the odds, everybody should get 2 of them. Now, there's going to be probably 1 hero that literally maxes all their ingots out, and the rest only have 1 self buffed, which is probably going to happen, have 1 prosperity buff, and then everybody else dumps their fortune onto them, which is cool. That's a possibility. My only concern with this is I hope it has smart targeting, so that if you already have an ally that has the cap, of course, each hero can only own up to X ingots. If they're already at the cap, I hope the game doesn't let that fortune go onto an ally that's already capped. That would feel absolutely horrible. If it is smart, that would be a little bit better. Again, but there's a lot of RNG involved, and it really comes down to 2 things. Number 1, how many of these ingots can we get for each the gold and silver? And what is the percentage that we're getting for all damage dealt and all damage received lowering? My guess is honestly going to be like a 5%, I feel like. For some reason, I think this is going to be capped out at 3, and these are each going to be like 5%. So you can go up to like an additional 15% all damage dealt, and you go up to like 15% all damage dealt. This very much coincides with some other artifacts we have. We'll have to see. Now, in certain game modes where you're really pumping damage to 1 single hero, of course, Antlers Came still sounds better. This one just has a lot of flexibility and a ton of survivability and control immunity rates. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. We'll, of course, try to build as many of these as possible and test it out ourselves. If you decide to go all in on these Auspicious Lucky Cats, let me know when you get all of them. We'll test it out. We'll show people on a video how it works, and I'll see you guys next time.